Yep, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to this week's episode of River City 93. I'm your host, as always, Elliot Barr. And just joining me are three lovely people that got to carry the show while I was out on break and also see the return of the king. Like it's Easter, but it's not. Hey, y'all.
What an intro.
Yeah. We have nothing else to talk about. I just want to talk about Emmy coming back and how, because I recorded the moment, I'm going to put it out tomorrow. But it really did sound like the Garden when Reed came back. I don't know if you've ever seen that clip. It's an old basketball clip of like Willis Reed walking through the Garden. He's coming back. I think it's the NBA Finals in the 70s. But the whole arena like erupts. And that's how I felt when Emmy came on. I didn't care about the score. I just saw Emmy and was like, he's alive. He doesn't need my knee or knee replacement anymore. He can move.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good to have him back.
Yeah.
Really good to have him back.
Yeah, it is.
I was not there. I missed the glorious moment, but I am so glad to be wrong when we genuinely thought we were never going to see that man again. I say that completely unironically. I actually did not think he was coming back this season. I thought maybe he'd like blown out every ligament in his ankle, and we were literally never going to see this man alive again. So I am relieved that I was wrong, that they were telling us the truth when they said he was rehabbing and that he would almost be back. Maybe they weren't lying about the broken finger or whatever. I actually did not think he was coming back this season. I thought that it was going to be a slow drip of
it was
delay.
It was like the 24, 48 hours beforehand, and they put the photo out, and everyone was just like, oh, he's back. Oh my goodness. You know, the players around the night, if you see Jess's photos, you're like, wait, hold on. I know that person. I know them tattoos. So, and then here comes Matt Tweet. I don't believe it until I see it printed on the roster. And then in my head,
that
I was
wasn't
like,
me that time.
It was, oh no, it was Alex. And I was just like, damn it, he's right. Well, it was just like, oh man. But yeah, it was good. It was good to see Emmy back on the field.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll get to why it was happening like this, but down in Section O, probably like the 10 minutes leading up to that, all it was were various songs, basically different variations of "We Want Emmy," changing any other Emmy songs we have to, put in Emmy. It's time for Emmy. We want Emmy. Hurry up, put in Emmy.
That's what it felt like, man. Like it very much felt like the vibe. Like everyone kind of knew. Even the announcer, he did like his whole special introduction to Emmy being out there, which sounded pretty dope. I think he recorded and put it out on social media, but it sounded really cool. We got more to talk about than just Emmy being out there, but like it's Emmy.
And then, I mean, you see what he can, do. Even maybe not, even if he's not 100%, back yet, he's still almost scored out of nowhere, which has kind of been the issue for that position.
God. Yo, if Emmy scored on his return,
I know City Stadium would have blown up.
Oh.
I'm not sure Pac knew anything about that one. I think it just hit him rather than it being a save.
Oh yeah, he did it. He didn't know anything about it. I think it just luckily bounced. Like, but honestly, it's funny how you bring that up, Matt, because that's what it felt like this whole game was. Like it was like Richmond would get into the final third. They would either A, create a chance but wouldn't finish it, B, have a chance but wouldn't finish it, or Charlotte would pull like this magical defending out of nowhere, like on the goal line clearance where I think it was Demick or Spellman that.
Yeah, it was. I think it was Demick. Yeah,
cleared off the line.
Yeah, this was one of those games where I think if we had played for another 30 minutes, for some reason, we wouldn't have scored a goal. And we were creating chances. And like you said, Pack was getting very lucky. He got lucky probably 3 times in terms of, saves that he didn't really know too much about. So I don't know if we could really call them saves.
Which was honestly, I would say, probably the weirder thing about this game, because granted, we missed Nils Vigneault because of suspension because of the red card he got last week.
Yeah.
But it was like the amount of chances. Maybe not the first half, because the first half I felt like both teams were kind of pulling their punches and everything was kind of played in the midfield. But really, like the second half, like I would say I'm disappointed in the result, but like I'm pleasantly surprised at how much we were able to create without our main creator on the field and the kind of chances they were creating. Granted, part of that is also like putting Tony out there on the left wing and letting him just go. Like it was like Darren found his old playbook and was like, "Oh, fast winger, center backs, play it diagonal, just go." But yeah, that's what I would say. Matt, I'll toss it over to you to give your opening thoughts, sir.
Do we want to just reset from the start of the game at this point, or just going full on chaos ball with commentary?
Probably so. Let's just go chaos ball. Let's see where the direction flows. Because literally, we can just talk about Emmy returning. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I think the first half was getting ready to be a complete write-off until we've already listened to the Ivy version of this podcast for this week. We talked about last minute goals right before halftime. This was like last second goal right before halftime. It was just a deflator, and I think that it definitely changed the way the second half went for both teams, because I got the impression Charlotte, was happy to give the kickers the ball for a lot of the second half and say, "Hey, break us down. We have top defenders. We have a top goalkeeper. Beat us if you can." And I think part of it was the kickers adjusting as well and really being able to consciously push forward, change their approach. Like Pineda coming in, the second half added a new dimension. We've talked a lot about how this team doesn't necessarily have much in the way of pace in the attack right now.
Mm-hmm.
Brought some pace up that wing, and the game continued to develop. It's just finishing wasn't quite there, in one way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I think that's like one of the points, probably the key point you can take away from this game. And obviously, like, you go and listen to like the post game show, which we do on YouTube after every game, home game. Go listen to those because we did it for the algorithm. You hear from Darren, Emmy, and Tony about like how much this game could have changed if the finishing was there. Like you had I think it was Sierakowski or Dwyer that had the one-on-one with the goalkeeper in the first half.
Sierakowski.
Yeah,
well, didn't even get the shot off.
Yeah, you're right. Didn't even get the shot off. But it's
maybe got the shot off, but like the defender was sliding like right on his foot, so it just immediately deflected back away. So,
but it's like you had that chance. You had Tony's 2 chances in the first half, in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's one more now, forgetting, but I mean, the kickers were there. It's just like that lack of finishing there, which has hampered a lot of this team so far this season, because a lot of the games that they've been in, like, have finished up as draws that should have been wins, or losses that should have been draws, or whatever, right? Just because of we're not able to score a goal and flip momentum in that way. And like in the first half, Charlotte dominated possession, but like I said, like a lot of that was done in the middle of the field, and most was trying to figure it out. It's just on the goal. Charlotte's literally first shot on goal. Dwyer just lost. He just doesn't keep tracking his man all the way through. Like, I'm pretty sure if Dwyer keeps tracking his man all the way through, I think it's Alvarez who scored. If he keeps tracking Alvarez all the way through, either A, that shot becomes 5% more difficult, which means Hara might be able to get a hand to it and it might get cleared, or he just Orbiton doesn't try to attempt to make that pass, knowing that O'Dwyer is right there in Alvarez's sight.
Yeah, I think you got the Charlotte guys flipped, but it was a 2-man game. They were playing basically like I think after the throw in, and I think Obregon gets it first, gets to Alvarez, who dribbles through like 4 guys in the defense, which might be another slight point, contention, with the goal. But yeah, he kind of loops around, and sometimes there is a little bit of credit to the opposition. Like those 2 guys executed quite well there, and they gave Obregon just a nice little easy slam dunk top of the 6-yard box. But yeah, I don't know if it's just on Chandler. Like you don't too often see like the central midfielder tracking somebody all the way back. Usually there's a little bit of a handoff made somewhere in there. So I don't know. Yeah, there's probably at least partial on Chandler, but I wouldn't be surprised if somebody else is supposed to be rotating and covering a run coming through as well. But some of that might be that like 4 guys got pulled over to Alvarez pulling his best Leo Messi through the box.
Yeah,
I get like playing defender and being a clumsy defender that I am. Like I know if I'm in that situation, I don't want to be the one who goes in and try to steal the ball and you accidentally miss and you give up the penalty.
Well, the first 2 or 3 guys outside the box though.
Yeah.
I think in that situation, I think it was O'Dwyer. He got caught flat-footed, and you see that clumsy lunge that is nowhere near Alvarez, and you could see it's like, oh gosh, here we go. And once he gets in the box, you can't touch him. Once he gets inside the box, you can't touch him. You got to just try and see if you can harry him off the ball, or just stay in front and shepherd him wide. Because if you try and go in for a tackle, he's gonna shield that ball, catch your foot, and go down, and it's a penalty kick all day long. So, yeah, once I saw Dwyer do that kind of clumsy lunge, I was like, oh boy, I think we're done here.
Yeah, and I mean, like you were saying, Matt, it is unfortunate how that goal kind of. It felt like it kind of took the momentum a little bit, right? Because it felt like even going to half, like it felt like
it was literally the only shot on goal the entire half.
Period.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. Like I'm not in the locker room, but I'm pretty sure their message doesn't change that much because it felt like this was a game the Kickers could have got back into, and they were there on the doorstep multiple times. It's just that the lack of finishing. But not belaboring that point, let's talk about the second half. Let's focus a little bit more on Tony P. And what does he bring to this team now coming, assuming that he's not fully healthy? He looked fully healthy. But what kind of dynamic does he bring to the team beyond just his pace? Like, what can Darren expect to do with him in the starting 11?
Well, I think this is a very reductive comparison. Hate that I'm doing it because they're from the same place. Remind you of like a year 1 Bolaños, right?
There you go.
Yeah.
A lot of pace, finishing maybe not there, but he's a guy who's willing to play wide, and none of our guys who've been out on the left so far, except for when we end up having to move Maxi up there, are proper wingers in any way. How many different guys? We've had Chandler out there. We've had Sierakowski out there. Who else has played on the left? So far. I think Simmons did some time out there. There's been a rotation of guys who have, Suko I think has been out there. At one point. None of them are true wing attackers, and so he can provide a little bit of added width that can open up space for center forward of the day, Neil, whoever else, because it's not going to be as tightly packed into the middle.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. It's like a sliding scale that I have in this game because I get there's no real wrong way how to look at this game because if you look at it from like a singular prospect, like you can be disappointed in the loss. I guess I'm more so looking at it. One, like we kind of quote unquote saw what this team looked like at full potential, and you wonder if like the guys can get informed. Like if you get Emmy informed, Tony informed, Bill, Bill is informed, Bill back. Like, the finishing is going to be there. I'm excited. And this is against one of the better on paper defensive teams. Like, it was a few balls Austin Pack looked like, like he looked like he was in trouble. Like, now, granted, he had Spillman, Hugh Roberts, who it was great to see Hugh back at City Stadium.
Yeah, he looked better in red, though. He looked better in red.
He's on a 1 year. So, Darren, just if you want a fourth center back with that 3 in the back,
bring him back in.
You'll sell some jerseys. I promise you that. But Hugh, who else? What's his name? Demick, and I can't remember the other one. But like, it's a stingy defense. The thing I think Darren is mostly trying to focus on now, and hopefully when we go into the Fuego game, they're able to curtail some of this and score goals. But like they create and get into the final third. It's just, I don't know if it's just been the time off, like the finishing just isn't there. I know it took a long way to get to that point, but yeah.
I don't know if it's just the finish. I'm not 100% sold on the creating the chances, either. Like, yeah, we saw a little bit from like Pineda. You got that one that the ball kind of got tied up in his feet. The other one that probably should have finished. But I mean, I also think to like the last 10 minutes of the game, and it was just painful watching like so many balls just get played straight out of bounds.
Yeah,
like they couldn't figure out a way to even threaten in stoppage time at all.
I think some of that might be down to because you have guys that are not creators trying to do a creator's job. Like if you put Neil in that situation,
you put Neil back in, you're looking at a different situation. And
to be like, hey D, I need you to create. Like he like, dog, that ain't my job.
But I mean, for me, it still comes back to what we've kind of felt for like most games this year, where it's not good, but it's not bad. Like somewhere in this weird kind of purgatory zone in the attack. There's some games where and look, let's be realistic. So far it's been when both Bill Hart and Vinny have been available. Like I don't think we've had it. I might be wrong remembering this, but I don't think we've had a game where only one of them was really in and available and the offense looked good.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They kind of feed off of each other. But I do feel that I do think that if he gets healthy quickly for the next game, bringing Emmy back up top gives us more of a focal point, and Neil coming back with Bill Hart, and you could put Sierakowski back on the wing. That would be a very potent front four with Neil playing in behind. That could be a very focal front four. And then, of course, second half, you're taking either Sierakowski or Bill Hart off, maybe in the 70th minute, and then you put on the pace of Tony. And that,
I like
that
how you're giving an option of which one it is. Like we all don't know which one of them.
Yeah, I was about to say.
To be honest with you, it depends on who needs the rest more. To be honest, I'm not going back.
He is tired and he is limping. Boy, you are staying on that field.
I don't know about that. Depends on the situation. If we're up 2-0 and he said I'm tired and we got a game in 2 days, get him off. Wrap him in bubble wrap.
Look at me. He's staying on that field.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did we get the one like soft German in the world?
Yeah, he's staying on that field. In the first half, because I think this game, Darren asked Bill Hart to be the creator for this team, and he did a great job. I think he had the most chances created and whatnot in this game. But there were so many moments where Charlotte was like, "Yo, we're gonna press him," and he just got out of it so many times. Like I remember there was one time in the first half, I think he dribbled past like 2 guys and still like was able to switch the ball like that. Another player that impressed me was also Gee. Like he is a mountain of a man. Like he is a big dude back there. Like I need to see the Twin Towers with him, and hopefully Ani's like healthy enough to start. Because, man, seeing those two back there would be great. It would be like five slammer jam. It would be amazing. Anything else from this game? Because I know we kind of like picking parts about it, but like you said, Matt, it's kind of like it's like weird being in purgatory. Like it's okay to be upset about this game, but it's also like promising hope as well. Is that a good way how to put it?
I think that's fair, right? Because like, it's disingenuous to say that there's nothing good, that came out of this. Like, because if nothing else, Emmy's back, right? So you got to chalk that up as a moral W, no matter what. B, there's the Jaeger Cup. I'm not changing my stance. Useless competition.
But it's a good opportunity to kind of get our ducks in a row before we get back to the league.
Yeah, we found that out.
Yeah, I mean, perfect time for Neil to be suspended on a game that who cares? So, but I think it's also disingenuous to say that it was great because another loss at home, didn't score. If you are a person who values this competition, like the wild card is shot at this point. Like it's win the division or go home, and Greenville keeps winning games, so that's going to keep getting tougher and tougher to be able to achieve now. So yeah, that's why it is such a mixed bag. Like it's much better than it was, last late summer and fall, but it's also, then last couple of weeks we saw some goals. We saw them away, and the home form this year is just not been there.
It hasn't been quite there.
It hasn't been
quite there.
And I mean, like, to get second place in this right now, I think the second place, because the group leaders are that pink team, Greenville, and Noco, who has been outscoring everyone. But then you look at the second place teams, it's like Lexington leads everyone with 7 goals. So, like, I think if I did them, like they will be the next team to go third. And we set on 3 goals. And can we score another 4? I don't know.
And nobody else scores any in the meantime.
Yeah,
exactly. So, that's how that would have to go.
Yeah, it's not like it's impossible for us to get out because like the next Jaeger Cup Meister games are Charlotte on the road, Greenville at home, I think Tormenta at home, and then we go out to Spokane.
I think Spokane comes here.
Oh yeah, okay, Spokane comes here. So like we need to beat Spokane. Like we need to beat them.
Or no, honestly, it doesn't matter if we beat these teams or not. We just need to score a lot of goals.
Well, I want to beat them for pride, Matt.
Well, yes, and yes, I realize I said the realistic path is to win. Like, have to beat Greenville, and then have to beat in regulation. Really, like shootout win not going to do anything.
Yeah. So I mean, like that's what it comes down to. But I mean, if you look outside the cup and whatnot, it does. Like if you look at it, if it was just league format, it would kind of feel like it's kind of like the natural order. Like, all right, we won 2, we'll drop 1. Let's get back on it. We play a Fuego team who is more or less struggling. Like, I think they're bottom in the league table right now, 1 win. It hasn't gone so good for them over there. What do we think about this game? Like, okay, let me ask y'all this: is this a game? It's kickers after dark. Does Darren be like, you know what, Emmy, Ani, I'm gonna give y'all the start. Griffin Garnett. It's past your bread time. We're going to leave you at home for the weekend. Does Darren start them against Fuego? It kind of be like, yo, this is the – like, how how does Darren ease those two back into the line? Does he start on and give him 60 minutes, or does he be like, all right, I'll hold you to 30, see where we're at, and then go from there?
I mean, it's hard to know without knowing how ready they really are. Like, did Emmy only come in at the 80th minute because he really only had 10 to 15 minutes, to give, or was that a tactical decision? Has Ollie been coming off the bench because that's all he's ready for right now, or is it because the other three guys in the back line, have earned those spots, and Darren doesn't want to break that up? Like,
Yeah,
don't know those answers. For me, this game is a must-win. Like, Darren needs to put what he thinks is his best 11 out there, because if you're dropping points, league points to Fuego, you got a problem.
yeah. That's not going to be a fun podcast to record on Sunday.
Like, Fuego has to be a banked 6 points. We got 3 of them already. You got to bank the other ones. Otherwise, you got to assume that any other competent team is going to take 6 off of them. So it's really just a matter of keeping up.
Yeah. It is weird, too, because, like, with this game, like, Richmond right now sits preferably, like, because 8 teams get into the playoffs. Like, we're the 8th team in the playoffs, right? So, fair. But if you get a win, like, this now pushes you up into that 5th, 6th place. Like, it's weird. Like, a win can really, like, change the whole trajectory of the season on the outlook, quote unquote.
That's true. That is true.
And that's going back to your point earlier, which again, you make excellent points. It felt like the Kickers are like kind of stuck in purgatory. Like, it's kind of like we're not too bad, but we're not too good yet. But we're not too bad because the injuries been hampering us. But we're not too good because we haven't finished the chances that we created on games and whatnot.
And that's another reason why I really am hoping that Emmy is back, because we know that his finishing is what we have been missing. That fox in the box instinct that he has really, really been missing in the team. And I think his killer instinct will make a difference when he comes onto the field. It'll also give us a focal point to play towards, give the other players purpose in terms of the runs they're making a decision whether am I making a run to receive the ball or am I making a run to make space for Emmy. It'll be a lot easier for the team to rally around him rather than just trying to say we got to figure out a way to score and not have a way planned out.
Let me ask y'all this, and anyway, how y'all answer this is cool. Like, I know we've been saying it's going to be easy just to put Emmy back in the starting lineup, but do you think there's going to be an adjustment period between Emmy, Neil, and Bill Hart all trying to get on the same page? Because Neil and Bill Hart have played together significant minutes, but we haven't seen Emmy in there yet. Like, is there going to be that adjustment period where how it works between the three of them? I'm not saying it's bad. I'm asking.
I don't think so. And the reason why I say that is because Neil and Emmy are familiar with each other. Neil and Bill Hart have become familiar with each other throughout this season. And I think Bill Hart being a wide player, he knows how to play with a striker. And Emmy is just a striker. So I don't think there's going to be too much of a learning curve with that. I think that's something that can be fixed in practice and training, and rather than repetition on game day. If you are dealing with another midfielder a central midfielder missing, now that's where more chemistry needs to be built. There are more nuances to that. So you would need a few games, a few repetition, a few games, get a few games into actually get that system working. But I think with Emmy, I don't think it's going to take Bill Hart too hard to figure him out and figure out what he needs from him.
Anyone else, or this is order?
I think also, sorry guys, to all podcast listeners, I'm back. We're not about the game that I watch. Bill Hart and Simon have good chemistry up the right wing, and Bill Hart often cuts inside from the right wing for his shots, or he's driving sort of up the right channel. So I wonder if, often Emmy plays sort of centrally, but I do wonder if maybe it means we might get more up the left Like if maybe we have Bill Hart playing his very sort of rangy, runs based shots from deep game up the right, but then maybe this offers something different up the left as well, or a slight more target play into Emmy, shifting to the right to accommodate Bill Hart's sort of free range play up the right wing. So I do wonder if maybe this adds that second dimension we've been looking for, because often we see if Bill Hart sort of marked, if Bill Hart's not on it, if Bill Hart doesn't have one of those shots go in, like they're often anyone else stepping up to do something. So now we might actually have that second dimension if they're given the space to work, to continue to both play their games. Bill Hart's still given the space on the right to make those runs, to the freedom to cut inside, take those shots from deep, and Emmy maybe is slightly more adjusted to the left to maybe play as a more traditional target striker.
Yeah, fair enough.
We have to
Matt.
hope we get something different as someone else decides to step up.
All right. Anything from you, Matt?
I mean, if these guys, are the top, caliber players in this league that we think they are, that I'm sure they think they are, they just need to figure it out, and quickly. Like,
Yeah.
Simple as that. Like, it's literally their job. Like, yes,
Yeah.
training. If you want, it's also be real, they're probably, among the higher paid guys on the team. Your job is to figure out how to make it work. Do it.
Yeah. I agree.
All right, y'all. Well, it'll be fun. We got Kickers at the Dark on Saturday, and we got 2 league games back to back. So we got Fuego on the road, and then Noco comes here, right? Or Noco on the road?
Yeah.
Noco goes
Yeah,
here.
Noco back here.
All right. So hopefully, when we're talking about the Noco game, we'll be talking about after a win. Emmy's hat trick, Tony Pineda's assist, Neil's assist, nobody gets hurt. It'd be great.
Hope so. Now, look, weird stuff happens out in Fuego. So,
Yeah.
As soon as you said it, I just thought about Stephen Payne's red card. It gave me 17 minutes in my head. I refuse to believe there was anything else after that.
Yeah.
Well, let's just
always something strange. Yeah. Like sometimes good for us, sometimes not good for us. But
yeah.
Okay, we cannot look at the actual result of the game, but the last time we played Central Valley, we scored 4. Okay, so
scored 3.
Oh yeah, 3. Okay, yeah, they scored 4. Unfortunately,
no, they scored 2.
No. Last time, last season. Sorry.
Yeah, we already beat them once this year, though. 3-2.
Yeah, there you go.
Chandler Striker, 2 goals.
Yeah.
And then that last game was at home too. But at the end of the day, we can score goals against them. 3 goals in one game, 4 goals in the other one, even though we're not going to talk about the result of that other one. It's possible to create something in this game. And if we can get Emmy back, I mean, and we were able to do it without Emmy this season. So
yeah,
now we've got yeah, we've got Emmy back. So let's do something. All right.
I need to see my king score, and I need to see my king score. I need to see it. Yeah. So without that being said, also Academy games. I think the schedule's up on the website. Make sure you go support that. Go support the Baby Roos.
Yep.
Okay, you went to the game. How was the vibe of it?
Yeah, it was really, really great. I think my main takeaway is I need our gals on the Ivy to come watch an Academy game and figure out how to celebrate a damn goal, because Nick Simmons made the most of every celebration. He got great film footage. He got great photos. The man knows how to celebrate. So, yeah, he absolutely made the most of those opportunities. It was a really fun vibe. The teams played very free-flowing ball, a lot of opportunities at both ends, and it was fun to see a win. So cannot recommend it enough. the games are free, the ones at Citi Stadium.
Yeah.
The product on the pitch is a lot of fun to watch.
There you go. We can't wait to cover those as well. It'll be fun. Look at us having a full soccer system here in Richmond. Whatever. All right. Well, for Matt, Shanair, for Kate, and myself, we just want to say thank you for taking the time of your day for listening to the show. Without you, the show wouldn't be possible. So if you find us so kindly in your heart, make sure that you support us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, everything and anything in between. Make sure you engage with the content. Make sure you subscribe and like. Matt, enjoy the beach. Shanair, have a wonderful week. Kate, we're going to miss you at the last two Ivy games, but you're still the voice of reason for a reason. With that being said, folks, we will holler at you guys next week. Be easy and be safe.